Hello and welcome back to a brand new edition of 343. I'm your host Jason. It's episode 87. We are joined by my trusted sidekick Ziad. How's it going?
Rika and you, man.
Yeah, no, all good. While we look calm and composed, we had some technical difficulties. I hope that our producers don't hate us for it. We are also joined by Mubin. Mubin, how's it going, man?
Yeah, good yourself.
Yeah, no, chilling. It's a bit stressful being producer and host, but it's fine. We'll navigate our way through, and we're happy that you're joining us along on this journey.
You're forgetting one
We
title: producer,
one
host,
time.
fiance.
I
That's
mean,
that's
Oi,
added stress.
fair.
there we
Look,
go.
it
That's probably
seems a
what's
bit
causing all the
draggy.
technical difficulties.
Yeah, man. Look, the brain isn't as sharp. Let's just blame all of the planning that has happened before. But yeah, I am now an engaged man. So hopefully, much like my team Arsenal, the success is just going to increase tenfold and tenfold. It's just going to keep going up. Um, but yeah, we've got another short and sweet but jam-packed episode for you guys. We'll be covering the guys with the most hair in some countries. We'll be looking at the likes of Man United, Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. There's a common theme there. The managers have no hair. And then we'll be jumping into a little segment that we'll start this week. And it's just basically an underrated Streets Won't Forget Fives team from the Premier League era. So we'll be looking at a few of the forgotten heroes who are very, very good and just overlooked because they played in the wrong time period. So that's the outlay. We'll jump straight into it. I think we'll leave the Manchester clubs just for now. We're going to jump straight into Liverpool, though. And on a slot, they had a little bit of a speed bump and a stumble against Nottingham Forest, but then putting on a very convincing performance this week against Wolves. What have you found of Liverpool's form of late?
I think they're doing pretty good, man. They have a solid squad, and when Slot took over, everyone was looking to see what is he gonna do differently and who's he gonna sign and whatever. And surprisingly, he just stuck with what he had. He said he's very happy with the squad depth, and it shows in their performances. He's coming seamlessly. They're doing quite well. I mean, I don't know what more you can expect. Top of the log. The players all seem to be playing well. The system seems to be very similar. Small differences which I can't comment on too much, but yeah, it's been for me a seamless transition, and I don't think it's as bad as many of the supporters feared initially. But on the horizon, obviously, is the big contract situation for the three top guys. Trent, Salah, and Virgil van Dijk. Interesting to see what way they go there. But overall, I think a very solid start for the new manager, and probably one of the better starts in comparison to some of the other clubs.
Yeah, no, for sure. Mubin, I'm going to ask this question to you just because it has a bit of relevance. One of his interviews, Slot, talks about the fixture run that they've had. And he says that he hasn't played against a team that's in the top half. He obviously came up against United. What are your thoughts? Do you think that they sort of hit a bit of a challenge when they play against the likes of, Man City and Spurs and Arsenal and possibly even Chelsea?
Yeah, let me just comment on. He's obviously right saying that he hasn't come across a fixture against a team in the top half, because we're obviously languishing sort of towards the middle of the bottom half. Um, Yeah, I think if he does come across, or when they do come across a City or Arsenal, um, you know, that you should have they got to show the steel and what they're made of. But like Ziad said, like if I can allude to that, there hasn't really been a transition that everyone thought there would be. He has stuck to what he knows and how the team plays, and hasn't taken anyone really out of position. He's rotated the guys well, specifically that six up front, that we all know. They have those six forwards. So if they come across a City or Arsenal Maybe even Spurs. It's that's probably going to be the test. And if they come out unscathed from there, then we know we know where Liverpool can go.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, look, they seem to be rotating well, as we saw with the League Cup fixture, Carabao Cup fixture, where I think they beat West Ham 5-1. We also had AC Milan in the first game week of the new format of that Champions League, so they've utilized that well. But as with that game against Nottingham Forest, I think they came up in a bit of a stumbling block just because Nottingham Forest had a bit more grit than them. Zia, do you think that if they continue on this vein and are able to strengthen come January, there's been a lot of talks of, I think it's Martin Zubimendi who's now done a complete change and now wants to leave Real Sociedad. A few good acquisitions. Do we put them into a sort of a three-horse race now? Or maybe Arsenal, City, and then, I mean, even a four-horse race now. We can throw Chelsea in there as well.
No, I think they definitely are firmly in it, and January is proven to not be that pivotal. It's very hard, I think, to get good players in January that are gonna make a difference. You're looking probably at players who can fill a gap or cover something because there's injuries or suspensions or whatever the case is. But I think their squad's really good, man. Even I think for me, what Slot has done with Gravenberch has been actually very interesting because he's made him much better. Looking at him last season, struggled a bit to fit in, whereas this season seems to be playing with a lot of confidence. And for me, I admire that in a manager. If you can make players better, it shows that you're actually doing something there on the training field. So they're definitely in it, man. They are in every title race. They're in it with the Champions League as well, and I don't think they're going anywhere.
Yeah, I think there's the sort of perception that once they lost Klopp, they actually won't compete for like anything, or they'll have a short run of success. But I have to agree, they've set up in a way that's favorable to the players that they have. They've also done exceptionally well with just utilizing those strengths, and I think getting guys that are off the injury table and actually keeping them consistently in the team with good rotation. I think they definitely have a good run, and yeah, it's definitely one to keep an eye out for, because I think they sort of built up this Arsenal City thing, but Liverpool can quietly go about doing what they need to do and just get in those points that you have to get, so that when you do come up against those two, you can almost afford to give away a point or two. But yeah, Mubin, I'm gonna jump to the other guy who also bowled. Sorry, this is the common theme, right? We're gonna go to Enzo Maresca over at Chelsea. Um, a lot of talk again at the start of the season. We were looking at the squad and we were looking at the playing style, and I mean, they just seem to be adding more and more players. But in these last few games, it shows that they've actually been clicking a bit more. And a guy like Cole Palmer seems to have just picked up from where he had left off last season now, and he's doing it on a very regular basis. Do they run into any issues for form? Do they run into any issues for playing time? Do they continue this form? And does Cole Palmer continue leading this team?
Yeah, look, I was one of the naysayers in the beginning of the season where I thought everything's in the shambles at Chelsea, but they seem to have sort of, I wouldn't say turned the corner, but they basically started on the front foot. Um, and I think it may be just his philosophy and maybe a way of doing things and player management has helped in that aspect where everyone probably knows their role in the team, what's expected of them and so forth. So um, also, I think they've shown they can be quite dangerous. And a guy like Cole Palmer, he's shown last season, he's made that step up from sort of being a wonder kid into, he basically carried Chelsea last season on the attacking front, and he's obviously carried that form into the season. So I think it's only onwards and upwards for him, especially with the guys around him. They've recently got Sancho, and Kunku, Nicholas Jackson is doing quite well. So, with that sort of guys around him, I think he's still the the top guy in the attack, and with him being so young as well. Like I said, it's only onwards and upwards. I don't see him sort of tapering off. Maybe there might be a couple of games where he doesn't score, get an assist, but it just takes another game or two, and for him to hit his straps.
No, for sure. And just quickly on who you had mentioned there. You had mentioned Sancho, obviously a former Man United player. Does it hurt when you see him in his debut game assist against West Ham and then get two assists against Brighton? When for long periods of time the guy wouldn't make the squad at United and he wouldn't contribute.
Yeah, obviously it hurts. I mean, we all know Sancho pre-United when he was at Dortmund, what he did over there, and obviously that expectation when we signed him, we thought he can contribute that to the cause at United. Personally, I was probably quite frustrated with him because I feel as a wide player or an attacking player, you've got to take on defenders, and I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've seen him take on a defender. It's always a side pass or a back pass or a stuttering forward run, and then that side back pass comes. So a little frustrating to see him do well. I'm glad for him, but I just wish it could be in a United shirt. What he's doing currently at Chelsea.
No, for sure, for sure. I think it's a good segue there where you speak about the United shirt, where we can actually jump into the two Manchester clubs. Obviously, City drew against Arsenal. They've now drawn against Newcastle again, but then put Slovan Bratislava to the sword. So we'll park them just for this moment in time. But Ziad, looking at United's form, I think they started the season a bit shaky. They got that win against Southampton and then that massive win against Barnsley, and suddenly it was on the up. And they've sort of stumbled again. And the fans are now the fans are up in arms. I think it was the draw against Twente, and then this weekend pass, obviously a bit of a drubbing against Spurs. Do you think Ten Hag is going to last till Christmas? Do we make a prediction? Do we want to put some sort of a wager on it, or what is happening?
Man, I just want him to never leave. As long as he's there, things are good, man. Honestly, I don't know. Actually a bit clueless as to what's going on in that club. And yeah, they won a couple of games, but if you look at the goals, I mean, they're sitting on a goal difference before the Spurs game. I think the goal difference was 0. Scored 5, conceded 5. And it's just like, what's going on? There aren't that many injuries, I don't think. So against Spurs, they started with close to their best 11, give or take. Maybe Hoyland comes in there, but it's largely their best 11. And obviously the red card was unfortunate. I agree. I don't think it was a red card, but the performances haven't been great in recent times. And yeah, they got some new players now, so it's again the talk about you have to bet these guys in and so on. But if you look again at what Liverpool have done and you look at what Chelsea have done, Chelsea bought a million players and they're still able to put something solid onto the field. Then you have to wonder what a guy who's been there for 3 years is, what type of product is he putting out there? What are they working on? Where are the players playing? And you talk about Sancho going to Chelsea and immediately running at players, taking them on, getting balls into the center of the box for strikers to finish. That same player was passing the ball backwards and sideways at United. So yeah, it's actually hard to think. Obviously he talks about the trophies, but I don't feel that he's made any player better that he's worked with over there. And the key guy there is Rashford, because Rashford was primed to kick on and he's plateaued completely. And it's hard to sit here and say that Rashford's not a good player who can never be good or whatever the case is, because I think he's brilliant. He's got it. It's just what is happening at that place that none of these guys actually kick on and get better over time. And to be honest, Mubin, you must jump in after this, but if you do sack the guy, right? Is it gonna even make a difference? Like, who comes in next? What do they do? Because the players are still gonna be the same. And the scariest thing for a United fan, in my opinion, is you're always hearing this: the coach lost the dressing room, or the players are at odds with the coach, blah blah blah. And this seems to happen. It happened with at the end of Ollie's reign. It happening now. They didn't like the Red Bull guy. What was his name? Ralph.
Ralph, yeah, Ralph
They
Bro.
didn't
Ragnick.
get so. At what point do we start looking at the players, the and those other things, support staff, or whatever the case is, like what's happening at that club from top to bottom? Because it can't just be the one man.
Yeah, I agree. It's obviously a recurring theme when it comes to that, and it's highly and largely frustrating. Um, but the biggest concern for me is that in the 3 years that Ten Hag has been there, we don't have an identity of playing, and that's non-negotiable. Um, I mean, surely
Yeah,
we
that
should have
that
had
has
a
been
style.
thrown around quite a bit. They talk about the style and the identity and stuff,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then you come back to, but I want two trophies, which is fine.
yeah,
But then you wonder, like, okay, you're winning trophies, but it's because you're probably just finding ways to win, and you're not committing to anything
yeah,
try this and
Yeah, look,
especially in a
a
cup,
club of
it's give or take 50-50.
a
yeah,
club of United stature, we shouldn't be doing anything less than winning trophies. We should be winning and contending for every trophy every season. That is the Manchester United way.
yeah,
So by him saying, we want two trophies, yeah, all fair and well, but it's two trophies over out of how many? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we
Yeah,
may have got into a FA Cup run, and we hold our own, and we win the FA Cup. Okay, we win the Carabao Cup. Okay, but we're not winning consistently. We're not winning cups consistently. We're not winning the bigger cups consistently. The
yeah,
league, a European Cup. That those are non-negotiables for a Manchester United manager.
yeah.
And we as
And also
fans
you
and
talk
supporters,
about
we don't
the
expect
United
less.
way.
mm,
Yeah, and you talk about what you expect. So when you see the quotes that this guy gives, man, this guy's got
mm,
no personality. I don't know
yeah,
if it's an English thing or what it is, but I mean, how can you go out and say a club is in a transition period? Hey, bro, 3 years you there. I understand
yeah,
these projects because I support Arsenal. We have a project, so I can't
yeah,
say much about that. But at the end of the day, how can you still be saying everything is transition? We had to get rid of players. We had to do this, that. But you're buying players which also don't make sense because you're literally taking all the players that you coached at Ajax and you're buying them 5 years later after
yeah,
they run. Like a guy like De Ligt, probably good talent. Maybe he'll be a good Premier League defender. But how can you look at a guy who left Ajax to go to Juventus, then went to Bayern, or whatever order it
yeah,
was, and then you still this guy's still up for sale. Those clubs don't want him. Like you're buying players that clubs don't want. I was talking to Jason last night about Ugarte. He probably is a good player, but looking at PSG's midfield, the three guys they put out last night, he couldn't get into that midfield.
yeah,
Yet United will now spend 60 mil or whatever it was on the player. So like all those things, man, buying players that people don't really want, and then saying this is the master plan. Um, it just, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But as an Arsenal fan, stick with him as long as possible.
yeah. Change
Yeah.
isn't good, man. Look, yeah, you must just knuckle down and just keep going through, man. Because the
No, look,
only way forward
I
is
just want to
through.
add the thing that gets to me is, there were talks of him being sacked before the beginning of the season, obviously,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
then they did a complete 360. My I can't understand why they would do that, knowing that this was potentially the problem we could run into, right? Where we in October, say November even, and then we're languishing at 10th, maybe won 3 games out of 12, or 4 out of 10, whatever the case is, and then you expect someone in to come in and run a miracle for us to somehow end up in the top five to qualify for Europa again, which is not good enough again. We shouldn't be
yeah.
playing in Europa League. We should be qualifying in the top four, at least minimum Champions League.
yeah.
That is the part
Nah,
that frustrates me the most.
yeah,
Because what's going to happen inevitably is that, I mean, we spoke about this in our group, is he's probably going to get a run of another couple of games. Maybe he gets a result or two, but somewhere along the line, he's not going to string wins along. He's going to get sacked, and then Van Nistelrooy gets appointed interim coach for a certain period. He wins a few games, and then they give him a contract.
yeah,
He
It's the
might
same
actually
thing,
be
the
good.
same
He might
returning
actually
theme.
be good.
yeah,
No, I love him. I loved him as a player. I mean, I think he's a good coach, but I think I asked AF the question: does he have the pedigree as a coach to manage Manchester United? That is the
yeah.
question that I'm asking.
It's such a fine thing, because I mean, it seemed like that was always the plan, and I think we saw the sort of success that you had under Ole. Former player, he has the insights to what it's like to play for the club. So now you have that sort of fail-proof plan to get Van Nistelrooy back, and I mean, who I think could arguably be a bigger legend than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United. Maybe I stand under correction. That maybe you would have to confirm for me, but yeah, it just seems like they will stick it through. And this is actually, yeah, this is also, I'm just going to talk to an exclusive from David Ornstein that our good friend AF got Monday night, um, interacting with him on threads, and asked the question whether Ten Hag gets sacked. And according to Mr. David Ornstein, he says, as things stands, I'm not aware of any change that's planned. But like we are saying, he's also saying it is a results industry. So get a few wins together, fine, everybody's happy. But those games, if you don't win it, suddenly you're heading to Christmas and you're languishing, maybe 10th, 11th, 12th. It can get scary. It can really get scary. And it is a bit concerning because as soon as you get in the interim manager, you have that bounce. It's again just the papering over the crack, and that crack is just getting bigger and bigger. And once that plaster breaks, you'll see that there's this massive gap and things like that. So
Yeah, they normally
yeah,
see when they look up at the ceiling when it rains in Old
yeah,
Trafford.
yeah.
So
And then it's almost like metaphorically, it's just coming down and it's there, and it's like, um, but yeah, Mubin, I'll tell you now honestly, that from an Arsenal fan, I wish you all the best. We've been through we've been through transition periods. We've been through coaches, interims, and yeah, I think if you can lock down somebody who has a clear vision and the owners back him fully, and there's actually tangible evidence of what wants to be done,
But
and what has to be
exactly,
done.
that's the point, right? The blueprint
Yeah,
is right there. Arteta
yeah,
was a project, right?
yeah,
Yeah, you guys may not have won the title in the last couple of seasons, but you
yeah,
challenged up until the
yeah,
end, which
yeah,
is more than what we can say.
yeah,
At least there was progress from, when he took over up until now.
yeah.
So
Okay, so then just to answer a quick age-old debate, then from your perspective, is it better to have that sort of tangible progress, or is it better to win two two trophies in 3 years?
I'd go in the current situation, I'd go for the progress
Hmm.
because it would mean that we a season away or half a season away from contending and being the best in the league.
Yeah,
Like I said, the trophy is easy to come by. It's like, for
yeah,
example, an FA Cup. You go on a cup run, you win the cup. It can happen to any club. A top four club, a Brighton, as an example, West Ham, that just go on a
yeah,
run, and on the day they hold their own in a quarter or semi, and they make the
yeah,
final, and they park the bus and they win it 1-0. It can happen to anyone. But as a top four club, as a club with Manchester United's stature and order, you want to be the number one. So I'd go for the progress considering the past 10 years that we've had.
yeah. No, that's 100% fair. I think I would do the same. I mean, I'm currently doing the same. Don't have any trophies to back up Arteta's run, but yeah,
But you got the flag.
yes, there's I have a flag and I've got visible evidence that my team is competing against the likes of Brentford and all of those guys.
Yeah, you don't have to scroll down to the next page when you look at the log.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's yeah, it's just crazy and good luck because you were saying teams that could go on runs and stuff like that. Coventry literally had you guys very close last season. Could have been very different. It could have been. It was one boot length away from being a very
Oh,
different season.
yeah.
Maybe Den Haag
But
doesn't
that's the thing. I
stay.
mean, I don't want to hop and go back because I mean, time is
Mm,
obviously of the essence. But yeah, we beat you. You beat Barnsley 7-0. It hasn't mean anything.
yeah,
I mean, you expected to beat them, whether it's 3-1 or 7-0 or 5-0 or 1-0. You expected to beat them.
yeah,
Beating them 7-0 doesn't mean, oh my word, okay, we're back. You know,
yeah,
we shouldn't be losing against Spurs at home. We shouldn't be losing against Liverpool at home, and not losing, being thrashed.
yeah.
Um, it's unacceptable.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, now let's not have you cry on the stream here, despite what that would do for our viewers. We'll actually jump over Pep because I don't think you want to talk about Pep and like Man City, but obviously we have Erling
Mm.
Haaland who's doing amazing, and yeah, somebody needs to stop him. I don't know
The
who it's
funny
gonna
thing
be.
with Pep is right. Obviously, a couple of managers you spoke about. So,
Yeah,
Arteta worked at City, worked with Pep.
yeah.
Maresca also spent some time there. So, these guys kind of know the inside.
Ten
So,
Hag also spent
it's
time
like
with him
Art.
though.
Yeah,
Ten
but
Hag
he
was at
seemed to have
Bayern.
looked at what
Yeah,
not to do rather than what the other guys did.
What to
yeah,
do?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
so it's gonna have to be one of those guys that kind of take him down because, like Arteta said the other day, I spent 4 years there. I
yeah,
know what they talking about and
yeah,
I know what's happening there. So yeah, like you say, Pep is brilliant. It's gonna be interesting to see how he deals with not having Rodri, but Gundogan, my
yeah.
bro. There's a Swiss Army knife. That man just right.
Just
What do
came
you
back.
need? Okay, I'll be that
Yeah,
bra today.
yeah,
And it's like, and then he goes and score a freaking deflection goal yesterday.
mm,
It just falls into place for them, man. And it's because of their prep. Like you make
yeah,
your own luck. So I'm not sitting here
yes,
saying, they're lucky and things break their way. You make your
yeah,
own luck. They work hard. They got good players, and then also
yeah,
they got 115, 130 charges. So
yeah.
on that note, we move.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's we will end that segment, eh? Before they come after us and we have one massive charge hanging over our heads. We are
Yeah, they're
now gonna
just down the
jump
road
into
from me.
sure, honestly. We're now gonna jump into the underrated streets won't forget forgotten bowlers from the Premier League area, early 2000s, maybe late 1990s, maybe. So we've devised our five-a-side teams, obviously separately, not this isn't a group activity, but we'll now share for the class. I think we've all adopted the formation of a keeper, one defender, two midfielders, and one striker. That's the formation. Whether you play uh, four defenders, whether you play four midfielders, four attackers, that's really up to you. But yeah, the order of how it will go is we'll each name a keeper, then we'll move to the defender, we go to the two mids, and then we go to the forward. Okay, so Ziad, because you used to stand keeper in the road at home, who, who is your forgotten street won't forget goalkeeper from the
Yeah,
early
it was.
2000s?
I got an interesting short list here, but I think I'm gonna go since I got the first pick. I'm gonna take Fabian Bartes, just for the chaos.
Okay,
That guy
yeah,
at his, he was amazing, doing some crazy things. And if you're playing fives, you want a
yeah,
keeper like that. He's gonna do some crazy stuff. He's gonna make some saves, and he could also jump over the ball. But that's part of the fun of fives.
yeah. Nah, fair, fair. There's that one goal I think Thierry Henry scores where he runs out, he slides, and he goes over the ball, and he's outside the box. The ball is in the box. But I mean, besides all of that, he was a very eccentric keeper. And I think that's definitely what you want from a keeper. Mubin, talk to me. Who do you have?
I've got Brad Friedel.
Yeah,
I actually have
Oh,
solid.
on each. position I had to because it was quite tough.
That was stuff.
But I'm
Yeah.
going to go with Friedel, a
Okay.
veteran of the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I think he probably had his best stint at Blackburn. Very imposing keeper, experienced
Yeah.
keeper. So yeah, Friedel gets
He almost blocked the
my
whole
vote.
pile at 5-a-side.
Yeah,
My bra still fits in the
Yo,
poles.
that,
and
that's
Friedel's
the guy
probably
that
head is
you want.
over.
Yeah.
Huh?
Plus, he is original Captain America. He was like one of
There
the
we go.
first.
So you got the
And,
shield also.
yeah, the main pioneer. Okay, for my keeper, I've gone Jussi Juskalainen, Bolton
Yeah,
legend.
I knew someone was gonna take the bra just
Bolton
for his name.
legend. Yeah. I think as an Arsenal fan, I hate him because there was one game, or there was always that when we'd go to their stadium, the guy would turn into prime Buffon, and it actually used to annoy me. And yeah, so that is my keeper. I think what we'll do is if I say the last one, then I'll just jump in for the next one. Okay, so now we're gonna name
Smart,
our one
smart.
defender. My one defender sitting just in front of you, see Askelainen, is two guy, the Turkish wonder.
Yo, this one's might take a defensive midfielder there. Yo.
Yeah, look. So the thing is, you need crazy, and I think he covers crazy. Also, just with how he used to tackle, how he used to command that midfield, I think he can marshal a one-man defense. So yeah, that's
Easy.
my midfield. Mubin, talk to me.
midfield defense,
No. Defense, sorry, defense, sorry.
defense.
That
Yeah,
See,
my
so
bad,
so
he
yeah,
my
say defender, but he picked a
bad.
midfielder
it's a
because
midfielder.
he's going with
Okay,
a holding mid. You see.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so I in this position I had three guys, but I'm gonna go with Stephen Koch
Yeah.
from
you
Spurs. I
okay?
think in his era, um, he's probably one of the few wing backs that could bomb up and down and were defensively sound and good on attack in his
Yeah,
era, and also a stalwart of the Premier League. I think he played close onto 2 decades. Um,
you.
Across 3 or 4 teams. But obviously more renowned for when he was at Spurs and Newcastle. So in fives you always need someone with the engine from the back that can sort of still make their runs and get back in time to clear a ball. So he gets my vote as a defender.
That's fair. That's fair. Zips.
Yo, bro, when I made this WhatsApp group, now Jonathan Woodgate said you want to play. Phil Jagielka also put his name in the hat, but I thought, nah, man, these guys are interesting, but I need,
Yeah.
I need energy and I need
Mm.
madness. So I need big mix, Micah Richards. I just
Micah
want
Richard
to make
first
up. I
on
got
the
a small
team.
keeper, so I'm gonna put this big wall in front of him, and it's gonna be. You see, Big Meeks is that type of bra, man. That I think
Yeah.
after watching him so much, he's a bra. He'll come to every game, man. He'll be there.
Yeah.
He'll give the Owens a liquor. He'll be there first. He'll create the vibe and the energy for the Owens. So yeah, I'm putting Big Meeks in there.
Okay. No, that's
Nice
good. That's
one.
good. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is we'll jump into the midfield. So because we have the two, I think just name both of your midfielders, and then
Yo,
we'll make it like that.
nah, let me go with
Just
one,
because.
man. I'm hoping you take someone, then I can take someone that I
Okay.
have lower
Okay.
down.
Okay.
There's just so many options, man. But
Yeah.
I think for
No, for
me
sure.
first, I'm gonna go old school, show a bit of my age here. But
Mm.
I'm gonna throw in a Newcastle player, also played for Spurs, I think, with the long flowing locks, David Ginola.
Ginola. Okay. No, that's
Nice.
fair.
He's just a silky
Yeah.
smooth runner on the ball. I have a lot of memories of him playing. You know that kit, the iconic Newcastle kit with the what's
Russell.
that big
Yeah.
logo in front? Newcastle
With
Brown
like
Ale.
a star, no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
slot him in on the left there. And then yeah, we'll come back around to me.
Okay. No, that's fair. Mubin, talk to me. Who's your
Yeah.
first midfield? Roy Keane.
So I've gone more of a with a central guy that's just gonna plot himself in that central ring. Um,
Perfect.
Probably a maybe not a surprise, but I've gone with James Milner.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think someone again who has played a tremendous
Yeah.
amount of football, um, and very versatile as well. So, for as a central midfielder in the game, somewhere where I like to play in fives. Not, I don't like to move up and down too
This
much. I
man just
just
wanna
like to get
cover
the ball
ground, yo.
and
Yeah,
Yo.
he just
distribute.
wanna
Five.
cover ground. He
Five
pick
pitch
all the
isn't big,
Owens that
eh?
are gonna
So
run.
yeah, so even if you put a striker in the midfield, the Bra's not gonna do a lot of running. But okay, he's going
Yeah.
James Milner. But that's also a Swiss Army knife, eh? That's
Yep.
anyway. That guy will play striker for you,
Yeah.
stand keeper. Okay, my first midfielder also a bit of a locksmith, Steed Malbronk. I don't know if you guys
Yay!
are
The Fulham
familiar. I think he's yeah,
Pizza Hut
Fulham
logo
striker.
Fulham.
on.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if you
think he
can
was
see it, but it's written there as my striker.
Steed. Okay, no fair, fair,
Yeah,
fair.
because his backline was gonna run everywhere.
Yeah, nah, true, true. Yeah, no, it's also one of those guys that could slot over. Also had real longevity. Yeah, so that's my real muscle. And then my other winger or midfielder now, just because it's like gonna come around to me again. I don't think anybody can not talk about a streets won't forget player and not mention Moors Camps Pedersen for
Yes,
those
sir.
set pieces. If you thought Janola's hair was good, I think Morse went through about six different hairstyles in his time at Blackburn, and all of them iconic. So yeah, that's my other midfielder, and those round up my two actually. Mubin, back to you. It's coming very
Okay.
quickly.
So yeah, so my sort of attacking midfielder or the guy sort of up front, the link guy, I'd go with Tim Cahill, box to
Ooh,
box guy. Obviously good aerially, good creativity. So yeah.
My bro, what fives you play? You gonna cross the ball there or what?
Now we
Keep
play
it on the
4-4-2
ground, man.
pilot too.
Plus, there's no corner pole for him to celebrate with. You must think,
that
man.
one's gonna go punch the
They can punch
cardboard
the
there.
backboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that boots are not the cardboard, not cardboard at five, man. Yeah. Okay. No, okay, it's good pick. Zips. Let's see who this other midfielder is that
Yeah.
you are hiding from us. Is the
My bro, I'm not hiding anyone. The fact that you guys missed him, I'm very glad to be able to pull out my South African passport and say I'm putting Steven Pina in there.
Nice one.
Shoo! Stevie
How
P.
you
No,
forget about Steven
he's on the
Pina,
short
man?
list. Yeah, no, but
Nah,
he,
he is the
he only
shortlist. See,
comes
and I
out.
also made a
No,
dramatic effect to be
yeah,
able to
no,
pick him.
fair. But he can only function when he has Leighton Baines behind him. So you hadn't
So,
picked Leighton Baines. You think Micah Richards is able to support him?
of course, my bro, that man can support anyone.
Big mix, bro. Big mix.
Any bra that
Okay.
can be on the show with Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, the next day go with Thierry Henry and Jamie Carragher, and then be on the show with that comedian Ramesh and
Yeah.
Jamie Redknapp. The man is versatile. He can
Nah,
perform
okay.
everywhere. He played with Mo Salah in Italy. He played at City.
Yeah.
Played at Villa. The man can do it all, man. Plus, he's with the
Nah.
content creators also on the side.
Hmm.
But I sorted.
Nah, okay. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. So
And I
now that
actually
is
worked this out to my favor, so I get to pick the striker first.
okay.
Man, it's so hard to pick one. I
Yeah.
think I like what Mubin said, man, because we got a lot of friends. Maybe we should have six on the court, but there'll be less space to run around in. Um, okay, I think I'm gonna do it. Jimmy Floyd
Okay.
Hasselbank.
Jimmy
Nice.
Floyd Bank. Yo, what a guy.
He was the back of my my head when I was doing the selection.
Yeah,
But
but he
yeah,
doesn't
nice
run.
one.
He doesn't run enough for you, so
No.
you need
But
someone who
that's
can run a
fine
marathon.
because he would shoot from anywhere and it's always the top 90.
Exactly.
So
But
Yeah.
Jimmy Floyd,
whatever the
some
top 90 is, yeah.
iconic goals in that Leeds United shirt with a Thistle Hotel
Yo,
on the front. It's just some crazy
look
goals
here.
that he scored.
Just be careful
And
here.
as a
No, now
Dutch
you're
player,
giving away all of your age here.
yeah, man, as a
Jimmy
Dutch
Floyd.
player, obviously he had to compete with a lot of guys, so he was
Yeah.
always kind of overlooked. But yeah, great striker. So that's my team rounded out.
Okay. That's your team. Perfect. Mubin?
Yeah, so my striker, obviously I should have had a couple of names down. So I didn't have anyone like you guys with personality in the team yet. So I'm gonna. This is not basically. It's not based on sort of skill and goal scored and sort of all of
Mm,
that. I'm gonna go with
just
just
vibe.
pure personality up front. Uh, ex Middlesbrough striker Fabrizio Ravanelli.
Yeah, class.
Yeah.
So yeah, someone to you know give a couple of elbows and wax up
Look at
front.
this man got James Milner already there to kick people.
Yeah.
He still want to find a strike.
Yeah,
And Kale
it's
also
not
was in his
five.
fair share
It's
of
not five when you
fights.
come home and you jump in the shower and you just feel the burns all over. So
I think you set up your team for a brawl. Hey, you playing me, but I don't think you got it.
there's no ventilation in that arena.
There's no ventilation. It's gonna go all the way to James Milner's head. Okay, now fair enough. I had a few strikers as well. But yeah, I'm gonna settle for Mark Viduka, the
Yeah.
Aussie boy. Yeah, I think also criminally underrated. And who can forget the four he got against Liverpool? I think he currently owns a coffee store and he plays in his son's band. And I saw it on like Facebook now, like yesterday, maybe a day before that. So came to mind Mark Viduka. That's my fives.
Happy
Yeah,
days.
that was
Anyone that you any honorable mentions for you?
yeah, I was actually gonna put in Amir Zaki, the Egyptian Wigan's finest player. And for most Camps Pedersen, I was probably gonna put in Giovanni, the Brazilian that was at Man City. I think before all of the money, before all of the oil came into
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
that
yeah.
guy and Stephen Ireland, who claimed he was
Giovanni
better than
played for
Frank
Hull
Lampard.
also.
Yeah, and he had that one
Yeah,
goal against
okay.
Arsenal. So that's why I actually don't like
Yeah,
him.
I
But
see the theme. Yeah, people that
mm,
scarred you for life.
exactly. What about you guys? Any honorable mentions?
I have one. Um, is it Damien Duff?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got him
Um,
as well.
yeah. So I think he moved to Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken, from Blackburn.
Yeah,
Am I
yeah,
correct?
yeah,
So I think before his move, I think him and is it Duff and is it Richard Dunn or Stephen Dunn, the central
Richard Dunn. Yeah,
midfielder, Richard Dunn.
but
I
nah,
think the
nah,
two
nah,
of
nah. Dunn was a defender. I know who
they
you're
were
talking about. I can't get to his name now, but I
yeah,
can picture it. I know
he
what
wore
you.
the number
Yeah,
8 shirt. I think the two of them at Blackburn did a tremendous job before
yeah,
Duff moved to Chelsea. So he gets my
yeah.
honourable mention.
Look,
okay,
some classic players that people talk about in this conversation. I thought I'll just leave them out because it's a bit obvious,
yeah,
like Hatim Ben Arfa, Adil
yeah,
Tarab, those type
yeah.
of players that often get spoken about. But Rocky Santa Cruz is another one. But I was
Rocky
really
Look
Right.
colours.
leaning,
Yeah, scratch him out. Yo.
yeah, I was really leaning towards, I need someone on my team who's gonna get a few red cards, man. So I was leaning towards Craig Bellamy, but then I was like, nah, that's it.
If you had brought in Craig Bellamy, then I would have changed and I've put Risa on my team so that they can go. Just so we can have some nice orgy bodgy, but by the sound of
Nah,
it,
then
you
you
guys
can also
five.
take Jermaine Genius and
Yeah,
he fought with his own player.
yeah, no fair. Or Wayne
Chaos.
Rooney and that if that he fought was before he hit that volley. That's also iconic duels because he's literally arguing,
But
and then
check
the
here,
next
man.
thing the ball
With
goes and he volleys it.
with Mubin's team, do you think they'll actually score a goal? Or they just
Nah,
run around trying to keep a clean
they
sheet?
they should actually sign up for like a running club or something, man. Honestly, because Brad Friedel, energy. James Milner gonna run. Tim Cahill's gonna run.
But bro, who's gonna set up any
Yo, this one set
that team
up
is
for
just
the incorrect vibes.
nah, that sound like a team that plays fives to get their points for discovery. Vitality.
Yeah.
Surely, surely. Nah,
Liquor.
but okay. Sure. That was a good segment. I think there's so many ballers that we could have put in um, from different periods, obviously. So yeah, let us know if you have any changes that you would make to our teams, or if you want to just leave your fives team in our comment section, we'll reply, and then maybe we'll do it on FIFA or something like that. I don't know. But that wraps up this week's episode. Ziad, where can the people find you?
Yeah, on the socials, Coach Ziad on Twitter, on Threads, Instagram, Ziad Parker 7.
Perfect. Mubin?
At Mubin _Ahmed on Instagram. It's with 2 3s and not a double E. And Mubin Ahmed on Facebook. Like I said, I'm the only one in the group that probably still utilizes Facebook. So, yeah.
Now you must
And
represent for us on the platform, yeah.
yeah, man, we are covered holistically. Yeah, we've got Threads, we've got Reddit as well. Yeah, I'm at Jason_Ronnie on all of the major platforms, and we are at Sporticast on all of the major platforms. We've recently hit 200 subs on YouTube, so we're really excited about that. It's these small wins that just keep us going, and we keep pushing out content for you guys. So let us know if we're missing anything, if you'd like us to cover more sections, if you want us to discuss more about United so that Mubin can cry, let us know. Those are tears that will turn into views. And yeah, just keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing, keep commenting. We appreciate it all. And yeah, until next week, peace.